Today, we are discussing the quote, "We need to be reminded more than we need to be taught." And we're going to be discussing it from an astrological, energetic perspective to figure out, why is it so true? Why do we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught in so many different areas of life? And I see this quote pop up all over the place. I see it pop up in spiritual circles. I see it pop up in fitness circles and athletic coaching circles and business circles. I see it come up all over the place. We're going to discuss it today. This is episode number 72 of Real Occult, where we apply numerology and astrology to the material world. And so, how we're going to approach this is we're first going to have to lay out some foundational groundwork. And this is what I teach all my clients. This is how we get everyone set up in the first week of giving readings and everything. Is the universe runs in these 9-year cycles based on the year. So we are in 2026. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 6 is 10. That's a 1-year universal year. It's a magnified 1. Zeros in numerology amplify, magnify energy. They're space created. They're just another rung of energy. And so 2017, 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 7, 10. To 2025, 2 plus 2, 4, plus 5, 9, was its own bucket of experiences. The karma we had, everything that we had to learn, the lessons, the gains, the losses, everything like that is pretty much contained within 2017 through 2025. However, it is a layer. So you could think of it as like a layer of paint, where you have big divots, you have big mistakes. The vacuum's been created. You're going to have to fill in the gaps as you brush over now. So these 9-year things are self-contained, and you build up and you roll through these 9-year cycles. And then you layer on top the next year, and then you layer on top the next year, and then this aligns with your dasha periods from your foundational birth chart. And so where are the planets currently in the sky? What signs are they in? And now where does that fall within the houses in your birth chart? That's the area of life that's going to be impacted by those energies at that time. That's what's going to be heightened, brought to the surface. And so as we move through these 9-year buckets, we are in a set grouping of lessons to be learned. So in those first couple months of this year, depending on where you are, based on where everything is in Pisces, because we have all this transitional Aquarius and Pisces energy, wrapping up, closing out all these loops from the last 9 years, closing all these doors. And as we create more space, all of those doors will be closed. So that 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you're working off of the layer of energy you've already put down from this year, not off of the last previous 9 year. And so the further out you get, the more detached you are from those energetic ties. But that's just a little side note. Caveat. Pull that puppy aside. Just tidbit, cool piece of information. And so as we're in this grouping of lesson, we need to demonstrate that we have learned, and we do that. We demonstrate to the universe that we have learned by changing our actions. We do it through changing our actions, because by definition, that is what learning is. And so if somebody, this was the best simplified explanation of learning I've ever seen put into words. If somebody holds up a red card and then punches you in the face, A minute goes by. They hold up the red card again. And they punch you in the face again. By definition, you have not learned. Same condition, same behavior. No learning has occurred. And so the third time, another minute passes, they hold up the red card, and you take a step back, you duck, you move. Same condition, a red card's presented, and you change behavior. Same condition, new behavior. By definition, you have learned. And so the universe puts us in the same conditions in a different flavoring, right? So it'll be the same conditions flavored differently, a little bit different circumstance, a little bit different nuance to gauge whether or not you have learned your lesson. And once you've demonstrated you've learned your lesson, now you move on to the next one. But we're still in this grouping of lessons for that period. So whether that period could be depending on what the area of life is and depending on what the lesson is. So like for me, I work with families and kids all day long. I have a before school and after school program. In the morning, we see about 30 some kids. After school, for 4 and some hours, we see in person 70 to 80 kids, right? And this is Monday through Friday. And then also we have our online community, completely free, where we work with families and kids and we help them build families. We help families build unshakable bonds. Parents, kids, grandparents, everyone involved. And we do that through this shared spiritual foundation. And so in these families, when you start digging into these charts, you can have these 3, 4, 5 year groupings of lessons because it has to rotate through a full demonstration to the universe that you have learned in order to move on to the next thing. And so for the person who is in that, it's like it's going to take that long because that's what it's going to do. Whether you like it or not, it's like that is that bird's eye view journey. It's like that's how long that grouping of lessons is going to be. And so what we have control over is the magnitude and flavoring of those lessons. And so here's a story to demonstrate. So when I was in my mid-20s, I was like 24, 25-ish, right in there, I had a little kinesiology business. We were helping people improve their posture through movement, improving movement patterns and stuff. And my grandfather ended up having a stroke. You had to have a brain surgery, all this stuff. Well, homie ended up bedbound. And so instead of having him in a home, we stuck him in the house, and I was with my girlfriend across town. So every day I was driving back and forth across town to be the in-home hospice nurse, right? So you get there, you give him breakfast, you give him his meds, you change him, and then you give him lunch, then you give him his meds, and then you change him, and then you get him set up with dinner. Parents get home, and now I get to head back across town and hang out with my girlfriend and try to save my business, right? And so we ended up keeping this rolling for 2 years, and my business ended up getting completely decimated. But the thing is, whether I had 3 clients, 30 clients, 300 clients, 3,000 clients, I was going to experience the same type of lesson because it was the lesson that I had to learn at the time. And so first 3 months go by and we've lost a quarter of our people. It's like, okay, this is not a problem. We're just going to, chalk it up to not having the experience to figure this out. Then bam, another 3 months go by and holy moly, we're down to half the people. We've gone from 30 people to 15 people. This is tough, man. The thing is, it wouldn't have mattered if we went from 30 people to 15, if we went from 300 to 150, if we went from 3,000 to 1,500. The lesson was going to be the same. And now the scramble's going to start. And it's just the magnitude of zeros you have stacked onto it. And those zeros simply represent how much of the universe's energy are you going to allow to flow through you. Because we are all here to fulfill a role for society as a whole. And that's what that birth chart lays out and tells us. So now what we have control over is the magnitude of that role. But either way, we're going to be fulfilling the same role. The exact same role. Because that's what we are here to do. That's what the role we are meant to fulfill is. And so I grew up, and from the time I was little, only thing I wanted to do was be an Air Force pilot, right? And boom, first grade, they're telling me I'm colorblind. It's like, nah, there's no way. Start trying to meander my way through the test, start being able to figure out, okay, this is, what this color is. So now I'm guessing my way through, and it's borderline, and that's like, nope, second grade, definitely colorblind. Third grade, absolutely colorblind. Just don't want to believe it, because it's like, well, dang, if I'm colorblind, I'm not flying jets for the Air Force. So it's like, nope, don't believe it. And it's like, nope, by the time you get to 4th, 5th grade, it is clear as day that you do not see the color the same way everyone else does. And it's like, okay. So now you have to accept that that's not the role that I'm going to fulfill, because it's not what I'm meant to do. Point blank, period. And so I was lucky that I was forced with that hard barrier that then sent me down a different path into something that ended up building onto something else. And I had all of these things that now graced me with being able to build on top of each other to where I'm sitting in the perfect spot that I am now, to be able to genuinely impact families and stuff and help them build this like unshakable bond of positive reinforcement and support. And because, man, some families, every interaction between the mom and the mom does something good that now causes a opposing refining challenge to the daughter, which now causes something to, so like every time someone wins, it causes these refining harsh lessons for the other person, where other units, you grease the wheels just a little bit, and now this positive enforcement loop just spurs and everyone starts winning through one person's win. It's beautiful to see. And even when there's some friction, it's like if you have awareness of it and you can know how to now manage it and move past it and realize, okay, this is refining, this is not a reason to stop, this is a refinement type of energy, not a frictional, and then it can soften the friction and now help you learn faster so that you experience less friction. But not now, we're getting off track. The whole idea, holy moly, we are way off track, 13 minutes now. The whole idea is, I'm going to wrap this thing up. The whole idea is we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught, because we have to demonstrate to the universe we have genuinely learned our lesson through our actions, through the change in behavior, through acting in a new way. That we've learned our lessons so that we can actually move on to the next one. Because if not, we're going to be continually given the same challenge, the same condition in a variety of flavorings. Increase in intensity, change in variety. Until we've demonstrated it enough times to the universe, we've learned we are acting in a new way, so that it can give us a new set of lessons. And it's only going to take as long as it has to. We simply have control over the magnitude of these lessons. That's all I've got today. If you made it this far, oh my gosh, I'm so genuinely, unbelievably grateful for you. The universe is truly on your side. It wants you to win. You are here to fulfill that role. You're going to be dealing with the lessons, obstacles, challenges, either way. That equation's set. That Newton's third law, for every action, equal and opposite reaction. that karmic equation of how many inputs you have to give the universe to receive the output you want. Some people, if they want a 100-unit output, they only have to give the universe 45 inputs. They've got such an amplifier multiplier on their gig. They do half the work, they get twice the results. That comes with its own set of lessons, though, because there's trade-offs to everything. So it has its own set of lessons. Some folks, they have to give 100 units to get 100 out. 100 inputs, 100 outputs. Most of us, we have to do 150, 200, 300 inputs to get that 100-unit output we desire. And once we acknowledge that, once we accept that, and we learn our lesson and demonstrate through our actions, we have learned our lesson, we can start moving that equation a little bit more in our favor. And you've accepted it's going to take a little bit longer. Now it's just how many inputs can you get in, how fast. And like I said, the universe wants you to do it. It loves when we fulfill our role. And however much energy you want to have flow, it will allow to flow. You just got to demonstrate you're willing to do it and take the positives with the negatives. And if you're willing to shepherd that energy and maintain that level of responsibility over that volume of energy, because that's what it is. Like if you think of an athlete, it's like they're entertaining 18,000 people in this arena. Or if you think of a musician or someone, and it's like, yeah, they are taking responsibility for 20,000 people's night. They're being rewarded monetarily for it, but they're still having to take responsibility for that volume of energy and controlling it and being a good steward of it. There's positives and negatives. But you're going to be having those obstacles and positives and negatives either way. Now we're getting so carried away. If you made it this far, man, you are an absolute rock star. I genuinely appreciate it. The universe loves you. It wants you to win. We've got these fixed costs either way, obstacles, challenges. So we might as well make it worth it. Go big, go after what you want. The universe wants you to have it. You're going to have the obstacles either way. Might as well get what you want, because the universe will let you have it. I'll talk to you again soon. Talk to you next time. Thank you. You're a rock star.